Happy Monday morning, everyone. This is Stacy Turner with our DMOpro Zoom. So happy to have you joining us today. I'm going to be in Peachtree City, Georgia for the Peachtree Boot Camp this next week. So I'm hoping some of you will be there. I'll get to see you. I will bring some DMO planners, but it's they weigh a lot. They take up space in my suitcase. Not space, it's weight. And then I'm having to weigh that suitcase, but I'll try to pack lightly so I can bring you guys some. But it's always, like I've said, it's free shipping if you're okay with media mail. So it's fine to just have me ship them to you this week, or we can express them to you so they'd be there to have them if you want to give them to your team or things like that. So if you need something from me, a Peachtree, you need me to bring you something, just let me know. And today, so that means next Monday, I'll be traveling next Monday morning, so we won't have a Zoom. So I'll try to find something for you guys as a training. But I wanted to continue our kind of the information we've been sharing. I see Lisa has her book here. She showed us right when we got onto Zoom. She's got hers. There it is. This is finished by John Acuff, and he's talking about perfectionism. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about secret rules. So we've talked about hiding places, and we've talked about noble obstacles, and this is talking about secret rules. So I'm going to read to us, and we'll just apply it to our business and talk it through. Okay. So most of us carry secret rules for how we're supposed to live our lives, and that's the brilliance of perfectionism. At the core, perfectionism is a desperate attempt to live up to impossible standards. We wouldn't play if we knew the whole game was impossible. So perfectionism promises us that if we just need to follow some secret rules, as long as we do that, perfect is possible. So over the years, as you chase goals, perfectionism quietly adds some secret rules to your life, like the one that Rob O'Neill said in his own mind: wheels don't count. So he bought this fancy luggage, he got a new job and promotion, and he thought, like, people that make a lot of money should carry around really expensive suitcases. So he buys this really nice luggage. It's leather, it's heavy, and it doesn't have wheels, and it's difficult to use. But in his mind, you can't have wheels. And then, like, months later, he's doing a lot of traveling. He sees this lady just gliding through the airport happily with a suitcase on wheels, and is like, oh, why don't wheels count? He asked himself that. He had never said that rule out loud, but some part of him decided that using wheels was cheating. Somewhere along the way, he'd internalized the idea that it was cheating to use wheels. It wasn't just wheels, though. The bigger rule was, for something to count, it has to be difficult. A lot of high performers carry that sort of secret rule along with them. If an exercise is enjoyable and you have fun doing it, it must not count. Joy then becomes the good indicator that you're not working hard or making enough progress. So I think that's interesting about secret rules is it's kind of the rule you have in your mind. If you go one layer deeper, maybe even two layers deeper, that's where the true belief system is. And so maybe, you're not thinking, okay, wheels don't count. What does that have to do with anything? But it was, if it's not hard, if it's not difficult, then somehow it doesn't count. Okay. So, or it could have been even what he thought other people's perception of him. If he carries around luggage that's made out of leather, then people think that he's successful and that's what counted to him. So what other people think counts. If he's got plastic suitcase with wheels, then he doesn't look the part. It could have been that. So it could be like even a little bit deeper. So pull that thread far enough, and you end up with the rule: if I'm not miserable, I'm not doing something productive. Okay, so like down under a little bit more, like work is hard, and if this isn't hard, then it's not really work. So you've got some secret rules that make it difficult for you to finish. I do too. And one of mine is if it doesn't come easy, it's not worth doing. Another way to say is if you have to learn something new, you're failing. I had a fast start at a new thing, a few things in life. In 2008, for instance, I started a blog that went viral. 9 days after I launched it, 4,000 people showed up to read it. And that was really fun experience. But the rule I took away was if something hasn't blown up by day 10, it's a failure. I'm prone to give up on projects as soon as they don't deliver an avalanche of positive results. Okay, so let's just pause right there. Think about that when, like our son, he has his own social media marketing agency. And back when he started it, and I say back, this means like 2020, 2021, it was a different market, even on Facebook. They had different marketing rules, they had different algorithm rules for businesses that did ads and that sort of thing. And he was with a group of guys that they were saying like if something doesn't make 10,000 in 3 weeks, $10,000 a week with them 3 weeks, then move on to something else. And so that kind of got stuck in his mind. If it's not fast, like huge big money fast, then it's not going to work. And so he found himself hopping from thing to thing to thing to thing, and just it's different. Their algorithms are different, like they're having to try new things, but in the meantime it's changed, and he was expecting the same results that they got then. When people were home and everyone was on their computers all day, ads worked in a different way, right? So same thing for us. Like we can't keep doing business like we've always done business. The world changes. Do we change with the world? But do we expect fast results right now? And I would say with new team, think about this. They post on social media, new team member comes in, they post on social media and they have interest, right? Like 28 people comment, hey, what is that? Like, I need fruits and vegetables. What do you mean it's in a capsule? Tell me more about it. They may have a lot of interest at first. And so they assume, oh, I've got 20 people that want to order Juice Plus, right? And then as they follow up with them, maybe 2 or 3. Interest doesn't equate to orders necessarily, but they expect either one, I should have a ton of people asking me about it and I don't, so it's not of interest to anyone, or I have all these people interested and they're not ordering right now, so I guess they're not interested. We have to be careful with that. I've said this before, in our business, it's all of the little conversations that don't feel like work that is the work. And you don't always get a payoff for that conversation right away. Sometimes we do, right? Like you talk to someone and they're like, that's exactly what I was needing. I want to order right now. That's maybe 5% of the time. I don't even know if that high of a percentage of the time, but most of the time it's a series of conversations, a series of exposures. But especially new people, they expect I'm going to talk to my family and they're going to all order right now. I was really blown away at 3 weeks. I had spoken to all these people and I had no orders. And I was like, what do you mean they're not ordering? What don't they understand about this? Like, I'm excited. But it took me multiple exposures, giving them information and then doing events where I invited them into my home. We did a presentation. Sharon's the one that did it with me because she had a lot stronger belief and knowledge than I did at that time. Obviously, I was new. And then we started to get orders. Then I started to see that progress and I got to QSC. It was VF way back then, right? But it was a process. It was all those little conversations that counted at the beginning that didn't equate to an order right then, but it did down the road. And so all of the conversations that don't feel like work, you're just talking to someone at the store, waiting for your oil to get changed, or your friend, and you go to coffee, and your cousin at the family reunion, and somebody that had a prayer request in your Bible study group that you contact personally, someone you see a Facebook post about their child being sick. It's like all of those little reach outs, and then all of those events that are inviting to the 2 people that come and the 18 that didn't, but the 2 of them come to the next one. And it's just little by little by little, it gets built up, and person by person by person, your customer base grows, and person by person, your team grows, and they know a person, and it's a lot of little steps. And I don't think people realize that. They expect a fast result with a lot of customers really fast. And some people do, they just have a different network walking into the business. They have different, accountability or, rapport with people. Like there are people that just have more clout, if you will, walking into these conversations. It's usually their confidence, though. It's like they are so confident with this and they just lead and guide direct people, but those people really trust and know them. And so we all come to a different place. I didn't have that. I didn't get customers as easily as I do now because I didn't have the confidence I had now. That had to grow. That had to be something that was developed, right? But I could tap into somebody who did have confidence, and that was my sponsor. That was my upline. I brought people to her because she was better at this than I was. She knew more. Her confidence was stronger. She could present well. I didn't have those skills yet, but I developed them quickly within a couple of months to where I could do the same thing that she was doing. And I had to really stretch myself to get that point. But it doesn't take years, it takes doing, right? Like, we get experience from talking to people. We get experience of getting better at presentations by doing the presentations not so great and just doing them better, a little bit better each time. But years in the business does not equate to a good presentation. It's not so great, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, great, 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 not so good. Like, and we just keep moving forward. So it's all those little conversations that don't feel like work, that is the work. So after close to 10 years of believing that one rule, if something hasn't blown up by day 10, it's a failure. It's incredibly difficult for me to learn something new. I feel ashamed if I have to ask somebody a question. I feel embarrassed if I have to admit I don't know how to do something. I fake my way through a lot of life, believing that learning is failing. Real winners don't have to learn, they just know already. Another secret rule I have in my life is success is bad. My dad is a pastor and I grew up on the outside of money. I remember him telling me a number of times that if anyone ever gave him a nice luxury car, he would give it back. It was just metal and plastic. We were miles away from living in poverty, but there was definitely a sense that it was somehow sinful to be successful. My dad probably doesn't even remember how those few offhanded comments he made about wealth and success, but it's surprisingly easy for the smallest comment to turn into a limiting belief. So I think money and our mindset about money, I've touched on this at different times, and maybe I need to do like a full class on it sometime. Maybe we could do just like a breakout class for those that really want to dig in deeper, more than 30 minutes at a time, right? But like our mindset about money is really going to affect our business. It just is. And little things that have been said or implanted into our mind. I mean, think about that. If he had somewhere in his mind that the sense somehow that it's sinful to be successful. I mean, like, who's going to pursue that? If you think that people that are wealthy, or if you say rich in your mind, wealth, rich, if that somehow is cringy to you and you're like, yeah, but rich people are selfish. Rich people take advantage of others. Rich people got there on the back of somebody else. And he goes a little bit deeper where this person said, this guy makes this much money. How does he even sleep at night? And he was like, probably on a really comfortable bed with really nice linens. Like, why does the thought of somebody having money mean that somebody else doesn't have money? It's not like there's some money, and if they have the money, then I can't have it. Or if I have the money, they can't have it. Money is like a river. It flows through our lives. We spend money, we get money. We use money, we let go of money. We give money, we keep money. It's not like there's only a little pocket of it and that's all we can have. But there's things that have been said to us in our life, in culture, in the media, in our family, secret rules we've made up on our own. I'm just curious, have you ever recognized a secret rule about money that has come out that you see has impacted your business or your thought process? Let's pause for a minute to talk about secret money rules. Has anyone discovered one in their own life? And remember, you are muted.
I think that hard work thing resonates with me. You have to work hard.
So if it's Okay, let's explore that, Margie, as it pertains to our business, because I mean, at first you are exchanging more hours in this business than you will make dollars. If I remember my first paycheck was $90 and I was like, what? I worked my tail off this month. I got $90 and Jared even said that, like, are you serious? Like, you worked really hard. You did events, like you've been talking to a lot of people. You got $90. And then I remember Amy Getz said, because I think I was stressed enough about it. They're like, uh-oh, we got to bring in the big guns. Let's get our, 3 NMDs up. I don't know if she was an MD. Yeah, I think she was. But she said, someday, Stacy, your paycheck, you're going to look at it and you're going to say, I didn't work that many hours for that amount of money. And it's true. I remember when that came around, and that's the difference with our business, is we're creating residual income because we're, the way that our business is built with team. It's not just customers that continue to eat Juice Plus. It's that our team is continuing to get customers, and like just the little bit of money that trickles up, and difference in commission levels and things like that, like especially PB and POB bonuses. That is what the majority of my paycheck is now built on. And somebody told me that would be the case. And it is. I'm talking like 75 or 80% of my paycheck is those three bonus, that 3% PB and 3% POB bonus. So a 6%, a smaller percentage on a bigger amount of people, versus my 22% commission, or whatever it is now, 25% commission on a smaller number of people, right? Just my customer base, like a significant difference. Someday maybe I can pull up my thing and show you guys the percentage of that pie. That's the beauty of this business. But a lot of people would say that's cheating. That's somehow taking advantage of people, right? Is it, or is it just smarter business? It's a franchise system in that same way, right? That you're developing franchises underneath you to where there's residual income, or somebody who has a lot of houses and they're making rental money off of multiple houses. It's not just one house, it's multiple houses. So it's a smarter way to make money, but there is this mindset about network marketing that somehow it's taking advantage of other people. I don't know about you guys, but I don't force feed people Juice Plus. I don't wrestle them down and dig their credit card out of their purse. I've never done that. I've never yanked somebody's wallet out of their back pocket, signed them up real quick and made them a customer. Like, they're choosing to spend money with this company. They're not even spending money with me. I'm not taking their cash. They're spending money with the company because it's a product that they find of high enough value that they want to invest in it. So be careful what little things might be planted even within network marketing, that if this is a way that you can build income easy or easier, that it's somehow wrong. What you got, Patty?
It was interesting just because you're talking about network marketing, and I'm doing Kristen Boss training, but she talks about MLM shame, or network marketing shame. So, we might have been around somebody that was like slimy to us with network marketing. So when we tell somebody that we're with network marketing, there might be shame connected. So to me, that's something also, a secret rule that we might be telling ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that. Anyone else want to add anything to that? Go ahead, Lisa. You're muted.
Okay, there it is, I think. When Patty just said that, the first thing that came to me, and I don't have the book here, but Eric Worre, when he says, and I've done this, and it's so powerful just to ask that question. Oh, so it sounds like you had a really bad experience with network marketing. And I love when he did that, because it was kind of hard to do that at first, but it was really powerful when you do it, because then people start telling you. Because that's something that's still in the back of my mind with one young lady. She said that early on, and I still haven't asked her again. And I keep pondering, because I see her on Facebook making clothing, and I think she's selling it, and I don't see any difference, except that you don't get residual income and we do. The other quick thing I was going to say is, I haven't figured it out yet, but I remember as a kid, my mom used to say, "We poor," just joking. But that still sticks in your head. And I'm like, so what does that mean to me? So I'm still trying to reflect on that, and it hasn't really come full circle, but someday it will. So the things that we say to people or your kids, it does subliminally stay there. So
Right. And family culture is sometimes built around a poverty mindset. I was talking with a guy, I met him in the vitamin aisle at the store, and we started talking, and he was very interested in Juice Plus, gave him my information, got his. He eventually ordered. He didn't have a bank account, so he never really ordered. I gave him some, he gave me cash. It's not what I like to do. I don't ever recommend it, and it didn't work out. Imagine that. And 4 days later, he says, oh, this isn't working for me. I got heartburn. He had heartburn. That was part of the discussion that we had. Oh, this makes me gassy. He was severely constipated. That's part of the discussion we had. Like, it didn't matter like how much I was trying to encourage him. And he said these words. This is his words. I am a poor, broke, what did he say? I am a poor, broke, unhealthy Mexican, and I always will be. And I was like, and I was like, you're right. You will be exactly what you just told yourself. Those were his words. It wasn't mine. But I remember it was like a punch in the gut, because I really wanted to help him. But for him to let go of that mindset that that's how he was, like, there's no changing that. Like he's not even self-aware that he's identifying as that. So Lisa, you're right. Evaluate what are some things that your family said, like, this is part of our family culture, and to go against that feels almost like a betrayal to family. So I think that's wise for you to recognize it and to think like, what does that mean? What did that mean to your mom? She was joking about it, but it's planted in there. So what does that look like? And be careful with the thought process of it might be sort of a betrayal to the family to move past that. So thank you, Lisa.
and I think too, she was a single mom, and I think that played into it. The other thing I was just going to quickly say is I read this book, Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life, Bob Proctor. And that is such a powerful book as far as it reminds us. I tell people this all the time when I'm just chatting with them. You got to stop saying that, because that's even in my Bible study, women will say stuff. And I'm like, do you hear what you're saying? And the Lord doesn't want us speaking those words. So,
Yeah. Speak life, right? Speak life to yourself, not just to other people. Speaking life to ourselves. That's such a great reminder. So he says, I'm not alone in this area, as there are many people who struggle with a fear of success. The more successful they get, the guiltier they get too. Guiltier that they're leaving their family behind. What's the guilt in success? Somehow that you're rising above that, that you're growing past that, you're leaving others behind. That somehow it's wrong to be successful. Like, we really got to look at that. Where is that mindset coming from? So the more successful they get, the guiltier they get too. If I fail, it hurts because failing isn't fun. If I win, I feel ashamed of the success, and that hurts. And it's the very picture of lose-lose. And that's how you're dealing with like crazy thoughts. He calls it a cuckoo, when either outcome makes you unhappy. So to deal with our secret rules, we have to do 3 things. We need to identify them, destroy them, and then replace them. So he gives 4 questions to smoke out your secret rules. We need to identify them, destroy them, and replace them. So here's how to identify them. The problem with secret rules is that they are secret. They're buried deep inside, hidden by years and years of misbelief. You don't even know that you're following them often. That friend of yours who has a terrible boyfriend she has been engaged to for 9 years, she believes the secret rule that she doesn't deserve better. That family member who hates his job but doesn't feel qualified for anything else, his secret rule tells him that he's lucky that anyone would hire him at all. Call it baggage, call it limiting beliefs, call it secret rules. The name doesn't matter, but the results do. And it will be useless to teach you 1,000 ways to finish when your secret rule is going to trip you 5 feet from the finish line every single time. So that's the Big Leap book. He talks about self-sabotage in there. And I think that that's really important. The secret rule is going to trip you up 5 feet from the finish line every single time. So you go to host an event and you're like, okay, I'm going to do an event. And then whoop, here comes that limiting beliefs. You don't have friends. Who's going to come? Who's going to be there? No one's going to come to this event. I don't know. It's like then the sewer line gets busted and you have a water leak and you have to cancel it. It's almost like we mentally even make that happen because you're like, oh, whoops, the line broke. We can't do it. Where somebody else was like, well, we just won't use that bathroom and we're going to do it anyway. Nobody has to have water in that bathroom. This event has to go forward. So things can happen that like validate that because that's your belief. And you're like, see, that's what it is. Where if you had a different belief, you wouldn't tie that circumstance to evidence of the truth of the secret lie. Does that make sense? So, to really smoke out your secret rules, I want you to ask yourself these 4 questions. The first question is, do I even like whatever it is? Okay. Do I even like fill in the blank? One of perfectionism's favorite secret rules is only miserable and difficult goals count. This is the rule that drives every person who jogs to lose weight when they would really rather be doing Zumba, but it's not exercise because it's fun. And we see this rule come to play in that thought process, right? That rears its ugly head in our career choices as well. So let's think about how this applies maybe to the careers. Don't wait to be honest with yourself if you realize you no longer like what you're working on. Don't let perfectionism keep you stuck. So let's just talk career-wise. I've heard many people say, okay, there's 2 things. Yesterday, I posted on my Facebook, and it was a question from a game called Dollar Sense, and it's questions to get you talking and thinking about money. It's actually pretty interesting. I found it at Walgreens, and I was just reading through them. And so I posted the question, and it asks something like, would you rather make $80,000 a year with your own business, owning your own business, or $160,000 a year working for somebody else as an employee? And everyone that commented was like 80,000. I'd rather make 80,000. What if that said 20,000? I don't know. 80,000 working for myself, then double that income working for somebody else. Why? Why is it that people have a desire to work, to have a business of their own, and yet they're working jobs for somebody else? So there's going to be a lot of limiting beliefs about being a business owner, like, why aren't they doing that then? Nobody said I'd rather be an employee, at least what the comments I saw so far. They all said they would like to own their own business. So I've heard so many people to say this. I went to 4 years to school for that degree, and I still have school debt from that degree. So I have to work in this job that I do not like, but I have the debt to pay. And they feel guilty. Their parents put into money for that college degree or whatever it is. Like, they still have to stay tied to this job title or this job area, even though it's not something that they really like, because when they were 18 to 22, they made a decision about what degree they would get, versus realizing a degree is a degree. Lifelong learning is up to us, to yourself. We should never stop learning. Just because somebody's in a teaching position to teach it doesn't mean if you're not in a classroom, you can't learn, right? That's another limiting belief. The only way I gather knowledge is if somebody else teaches it to me. That's so not true. You're going to gather more knowledge doing it. Get advice and read a book or watch a YouTube video, but then do it, right? That's where you really get the knowledge. So if I'm staying at a job that I don't like because of, family pressure, because of I went to school for that, like that's what I did, that's what I have a degree in, that's what I have to stay in, that's a limiting belief for sure, because there's skills and things you learned during that time that you could apply to your business, that you can apply to your life doing what you would love to do. So thinking about that career-wise, even ask yourself, do I like sharing Juice Plus? Are you forcing yourself into a business or into, being a part of this community and you hate it? That doesn't make sense. If you're not finding joy in this, if you don't enjoy life in this Juice Plus community, you're not going to do great with it, right? Like people are going to sense that. They're going to see that. You're not going to attract team that really wants to do this if you don't really want to do this. So what aspect of it? You can ask yourself different aspects if there's things that you like and enjoy. And if not, ask yourself those questions. What is it about it that I'm not enjoying? And be super honest about that. So do I even like whatever it is? So that's your first one. The second one is, what is my real goal? Perfection loves to distract us. And what better way than confusing your real goal with some fake secret rules? If you're not excited about your goal right now, ask yourself, what's my real goal? And make sure that what you're chasing is actually what you want to catch. Somebody might say, my goal is to be a national marketing director. And we all kind of have that in our heads, right? Like we want to be an NMD, and it's what's taught. Like, let's get you there. Let's be an NMD. But, if you're not excited about your goal right now, ask yourself, what's my real goal? Take it back smaller. You can have a long goal of NMD, but what if you really focus on the real goal that you have of, I want to help impact people's health. I want to help impact people's wealth. Back it up. I want to have really great connections with people. I want to be a better speaker in public and present. I want to teach in a way that really makes an impact. I want to share information that changes the way people think and they're able to move forward in life. Like, back it up from that long goal of national marketing director. What is really the goal that you can get excited about? What is your real goal in sharing this business and sharing this product to where you have a closer connection to that than such a far away goal? Okay, so what's fun about this approach is knowing that your real goal opens you up to a wide variety of methods to accomplish it. So if the real goal is to educate people on their health, that changes things from, I just want to be an NMD, right? So my real goal is I want to help people. I want to educate people on their health. I can educate through posts on social media. I could educate through live videos on social media. I can educate by teaching classes in my local community. I can educate by hosting events locally at my house. I can educate by teaching people one-on-one over coffee. You know what I mean? Like, that changes things. That gives you options. What do you love about those things? And then lean into that versus just that long-term goal. So what's fun about this approach is that knowing your real goal opens you up to a wide variety of methods to accomplish it. What method do you find enjoyable in sharing this business? Not unenjoyable because it's difficult because you've never done it and it makes you nervous. That's probably where you can lean in and grow a lot. Don't avoid that. But like, what method do you find enjoyable? The third question is, does the method I'm using match who I am? A very common secret rule is, what I'm naturally talented at doesn't count. Okay, so all of you that got in trouble when you were little for talking in class, for not staying quiet in the classroom, this probably comes a little bit more easy to you. Or you may find that you overtalk and you're not a good listener because of that. If something comes easily or comfortable, it must not be good. That could be a secret rule, right? Why does perfectionism offer up this rule? Because if things that come naturally are cheating, then you're doomed to pursue difficult goals and you're sure to quit. Are there things that your family or somebody said to you, little things in your mind that have stuck in there? I don't know. Something pops into your head. If something does, then let's address whatever that is. If you don't have a lot of joy in your goal right now, make sure you're using a method that plays to your strengths. If you are just really uncomfortable in speaking in public, to force yourself to do a presentation without training, right? Like if you want, that's a skill set. It's a mindset, but it's also a skill set to force yourself to be good at something without really pursuing training to get good at it. So reading books about presenting, taking a Toastmasters class, learning how to speak in public. Like it's really not fair to force yourself to do something without the skills to do it well. But just because you're uncomfortable with it doesn't mean you can't do it well either. But if you don't have a lot of joy in your goal right now, make sure you're using a method that plays to your strengths. What are things that you love? What do you find joy in? Then lean into that. Okay. And then number 4 is it time to quit? And I think all of your upline may not be happy with me that I just said that, but let's explore that. We're not talking about quitting the business. Okay. The middle of any goal is difficult and uncomfortable. And I can't think of her name right now. She lived in Lubbock and she taught at CBU, like Lubbock Christian University, LCU. But I cannot think of her name. She did a presentation one time about being in the middle, and in the middle is where the heart is, right? Like the beginning is all the excitement, the end is the celebration, but it's in the middle that can be difficult. How do you know if what you're experiencing is genuine displeasure because you picked the wrong goal, or just normal frustration that comes in the middle part of a goal? That's a great question to ask. So he gave an example of this lady named Laura. She became a lawyer. That was her dream. And she had some really incredibly noble reasons to do so, but she found she just was not happy as a lawyer, not in the school, not what she was learning. And there was a lot of pressure comes with picking a career. It's a big goal that often gets tangled up with family expectations. One of perfectionism's favorite secret rule is winners never quit. Of course they do. People quit stupid things regularly. At times like that, it's important to get wise counsel from people that you know and trust. So we're often so wrapped up in our secret rules that we have a hard time seeing that quitting might be the best option for us. Finishing a goal you absolutely hate isn't a win. So I'm not saying quit the business. Please don't do that. There's so much good in this, but maybe there's something that you're doing that just isn't working. Is it frustrating because it's a new skill you're trying to learn, or does it just really not fit you? Are you at a job outside of this that you just absolutely hate, that you could find a different job that brings you more joy and that you're living in the skill set that you have, or you develop your own secondary way to make income? I think a lot of times people think that Juice Plus, to be successful with Juice Plus, you have to say that this is my only source of income. I've told you guys that's not the case for our family. We have like 5 different businesses, different sources of income that really takes the pressure off that this is not my only way to generate income. Are there things that you love to do that you can generate income with? My middle daughter decided she was going to crochet. She started crocheting, was not good at it. At first, we have this little octopus thing that she made. It's the funniest thing. And she was laughing about it. Even then she's like, I know this isn't bad, but I'm keeping it because it was my first one. Now she makes these beautiful, cute little plushy animals and sells them and like is generating income from something that she loves, right? So there's lots of ways that you can generate income. What do you need to quit or let go of so that you can step into something that you really love? That's the takeaway I would take from that. What is something that you can say no or to let go of? And it's not just, here's another example. My husband hates yard work. He hates it. He works, he has a business and his mind is in a lot of place. To come home and have to spend the weekends mowing the yard, he hated it. It was like, I don't know, it was like a whole level of torture. And so he hired somebody to cut the grass, and he's a happy man. Some guys would say, oh, that's cheating to have a yard and to have somebody else mow it. For my husband, that's peace of mind. We have the income to pay somebody else. It creates income for that guy. He loves mowing the grass. He loves being out there. Him and his wife come and do it. They really enjoy it. They want to be productive. They're outside. They've retired. Like they actually enjoy it. And so that's not cheating. That's just being wise of letting go. Quit mowing the grass if you hate it. find somebody else to do the same thing. If you hate cleaning your house, hire somebody to do it. That frees your mind up to be able to put it into an area that helps you generate income to pay for that, right? So think of it in that terms. And I'll end with this. Secret rules might have been ingrained for years. Perhaps you believed your dad when he told you that your creative arts major would never make money. Maybe an ex-boyfriend made an offhand comment about your looks that mutated into a secret rule you still live by every time you look in the mirror. So I just want to encourage you guys, think about what are some of those secret rules? Catch the thoughts, just write them down, kind of collect them, and then start working through them and looking at them. He talked about identifying them, right? Those 4 questions help you identify it, and then destroy them, and then replace them. So the thought comes in your mind, catch it, identify it, look at it. Is it true? Are those things true? Is it not true? Then toss it aside and then replace it with the truth. So catch it, toss it, and then replace it with the truth. I've done that with my daughter when she was younger. We would do that. Like, there's not a monster under my bed. There's a monster under my bed. Is there a monster under my bed? There is no monster on my bed. The truth is I'm safe in this house. There's no monster and I'm safe, right? So capture that thought, identify it. What is it? Speak truth to it, destroy it, and replace it with what the truth is. So I hope that's helpful to you guys. I've got to get on an NMD Zoom. If you want to continue the discussion, if something came to your mind and you didn't get to talk, share it in our Voxer group. I'm sure others would love to hear it, but I won't be on next Monday as I'll be in Peachtree, but I will send out a reminder to you guys. I'll be traveling back, I guess I should say. So thank you so much for your time today. I hope that was helpful to you guys.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Stacy.
Stacy.